Hello and welcome all of you in this session where we are together will have a alumni talk and session with Shubham Mukherjee, who has been a student of DataMites previously and has done a DataMites course with us. Okay, so let's start with the interview session. And let's first of all start it with congratulating Shubham. Very congratulations to you, Shubham Mukherjee.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell a little bit about what is the job role you're currently doing right now?
Yeah, sure. So right now I'm working with ATMECS Global. Right now my work is the project I'm working with is the image processing project where they are using NVIDIA AI board, which NVIDIA provides right now to do various tasks. They have dedicated AI board that can be used for creating a GPU server and then deploying it anywhere they want and customizing it. So we are doing an image processing project where we are detecting few objects, the PPE kit for safety regulation, safeties of persons in the bay working. So right now, this is the task we are working with. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Shubham. Can you tell me how did you get into DataMites for your DataMites course?
Yeah. My pass out year was 2019. I was an electrical graduate. I started working as an electrical engineer. Then I wanted to switch to something more future proof, more. I wanted to go to somewhere where I can more explore more on technology, explore more on upcoming trends. So what I found is artificial intelligence and data driven analysis where was the future that was going forward to, and I wanted to come to Bangalore for that, as I know that Bangalore would is the hub of IT and might be the hub of AI as well in the near future. So that is when went through DataMites. It was during the COVID, the second phase of the COVID, when I started exploring on that topic. Then I found DataMites, and yeah, opted for a course there, and that is how I started.
Okay, you took an online course or you were enrolled in an offline
Yeah.
course?
Earlier, it was an online course, but as I wanted to switch to Bangalore, I opted for because it was during the COVID. I wanted to opt for offline, but during that time, offline was not available. So when the pandemic ended, after the second COVID wave ended, I joined the offline courses of DataMites.
Okay, okay, Shubham. Before we proceed with the questions, can you please turn on the camera for a better interaction with our viewers?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so how would you describe your overall experience with DataMites?
Yeah, it was good. It was the place where I got the foundation of data science because, as I told, I was not from the background of IT, and literally I did not like coding that much because, from the childhood, I used to learn physics. I used to apply something that was mimicking in the real world. But yeah, opting for AI was the thing that not only requires coding but also your aptitude and also the knowledge of how the data would be meaningful to you. So it was not all on the computer. You have to do a lot of brainstorming. So that is where I wanted to started exploring on this domain, and yeah, I like it. I think it was a very good choice.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me a few topics that you covered in courses with DataMites and which actually helped you with real world problem solving?
Yes, so I think the main right now when I am applying the algorithms and all the things, what is the main thing that I find is the statistics behind it. So what I think is knowing the statistics, knowing how number, or so what I think is data AI or data science is nothing but a statistical like a statistical probability. So everything that is been predicted is through a statistics, is through mathematics. So that is that is what I think uh, gave me a good path. And going to the basics, it was a good session for me. In the statistics, I received a lot of books, I received a lot of video lectures as well on how how statistics is been used, or how a formula is being used to run algorithms. And right now also, whenever I'm facing any problem, I don't straight away go to the algorithm. I find the meaning behind the data. Try to find all the statistical models. Try to see which would be suiting the best, and how it could be more optimized. Or so basically all the algorithm most of the algorithm would predict. So a regression task would be having n number of algorithm to perform regression. But yeah, we should know we should know what the data is meant to. And that is the thing I think would come from the basics of statistics. So that is one of the thing I learned there. So yeah.
Okay, how well would you consider that the course that you did with DataMites prepared you for all the challenges that you have to face?
Yes. So what I think is, as I told, I was not from a background, and I was not very scared also, because I know that this is not a rocket science, that it won't come to my mind, or it would be very difficult for me. Yeah, the time was limited. I know I had to do something, because it was almost a year after my graduation. I was leaving a course, I was leaving a job, well settled job. So yeah, that was in my back of the mind. But after entering data, like working with DataMites, or going through all the lectures video available on Udemy, YouTube, I found it was not very difficult. It was rather only the thing that you need to grasp the concept on, and DataMites helped me in that, to get started with, to have a tutor who I can rely on, who I can talk to. Maybe if I have any doubt, the task they gave, and also the urgency there. Because if I'm enrolled to a task, there would be a urgency that I have to finish the task at this timeline. I have to finish. So the urgency also helped me there. So yeah, that is.
Okay. Okay. Do you feel that you were adequately supported by the staff and the trainers in DataMites?
Yes, anytime I had doubts, they would support me. All of the lectures were recorded. There was no issue on if I leave a class, it wouldn't be recorded. We had a lot of interactive session, lot of question answering, and yeah, the tutor was also good. She would explain. So most of the people who I took admission with was from the non-IT background. Maybe they were not very good at IT. They are not very good at coding. So yeah, so the basics, the covering of the basics was very good, and the interaction with the tutor also was a great help to me.
Okay, so considering the topics you covered in DataMites, the things that were covered in your course, what do you think in real life is something which should be like expanded into the course as well?
Yes, so what I think, all the basics course was covered, and I think all of the lectures available and elsewhere would also cover the basics. Uh, what When we transition to a company, yes, there are a lot of challenges, because the data would not be in a raw form. Like, it would be in a raw format. You have to analyze the data. You have to know the domain knowledge also. You need to understand. Uh, so applying the algorithm is the end last thing, and doing the prediction is the last thing. Understanding the data, understanding the flow of the data, understanding the business case was useful. What data might help me is to cover the basics, to understand how algorithm would be functioning, how to clean the data, how to manage the data, how to visualize the data. But at the end, we need to have that aptitude, or to understand why the data is being in this format, what the data want to say, what would be the target column. So right now when we are doing any examples, we know what is the target column. We have a finished data, we don't have a raw data. It's not coming from any sources, it's not coming, it's from Kaggle or some raw or some refined data. So doing like we don't have to analyze a lot in that. But when we go to like use cases wise, there are a lot of things that we need to be mindful of before applying any algorithm. What data might help me is to understand all the basics of the algorithm, and I think that really helped me, like to understand what the algorithm was about, how we can use it, what are the hyperparameter tuning, what can I do to make the model better. And yeah, so and the flow of the whole process, starting from the EDA to visualizing your or seeing the metrics on how your prediction is performing. So that flow was covered. So I knew how the flow was going to be. But yeah, there were challenges on understanding the data, applying it in a limited time frame. And yeah, I think that would be uh, like if I'm going to this domain, that would be the challenge I would be facing all the time till I am working in this domain. So yeah, that is what I would say.
Okay. So coming back to the curriculum, the course that you did with DataMites, what do you think was the most challenging part in the course?
Yeah, the most challenging was initially understanding the statistics and maybe the neural network after that. So I think when we start with the course, the statistics or the mathematics part could be overwhelming. It could be something like, okay, I was in the engineering domain, I was in electrical engineer where I used to solve a lot of maths, but maybe some people would not be very familiar with the maths behind it, how the statistics how the formula is being formed, why is this formula been applied here. So I think that mathematics part is the little challenging. It could be a little overwhelming. People tend to leave out that after completing the statistical course. They don't go to the statistical part and understand that. They would directly People would directly go to the algorithm, because applying the algorithm and doing the flow is very easy. Right now we have GPT. It could do, you can give the data and it could run on the own. So I think understand, but they won't understand your use case. So you need to understand the use case and also the mathematics behind it, behind every algorithm, behind every uh, uh, imputations you are doing, behind every normalizing, scaling of the data, why you are scaling the data, what would be why this, like there are 3 to 4 type of scaling. So why normalizing is required, why the scaling is required. So yeah, this kind of thing could be overwhelming. And also when we go to the neural network, there are a lot of black box model. We don't know what is going behind the model. So there are lot of tuning parameters inside the neural networks that we need to understand. And lot of the questions in the interview that I have been facing was coming from the neural network and their tuning. What are the tuning parameters? So they would give me a scenario, they would ask me what would the tuning, what would you have been doing to change this result. Okay, you are using this model now, maybe but your model is overfitting, maybe your model is hallucinating. So what you would do to make it more scalable, what you will do if your model is receiving high chunks of data and you want to fit into it. So most of the interview what I have found was from the conceptual level. They won't ask, yeah, maybe in the basic interview they would ask about the algorithms. But if you are going forward in a good company where they are asking challenging question, they would be asking scenario based question, and you should understand how the hyperparameter tuning is affecting your model, and you should be very clear with that. If you are not clear with them, they would repeatedly ask question on that topic. And so you have to be very clear on that domain.
Okay, so since you were talking about the interview perspective, I would want to know one a bit little more bit in detail that what are the main topics that are covered in your interviews, mostly the interviews that you would cover. And the another thing that along with that I would ask you, how did you prepare yourself for the course of the interviews?
Yes, so uh, I have given interviews with lot of companies right now. So what has happened to me is I became very confident. I tend to understand what the pattern would be like. Most of the companies. So I have attended interview with TCS. I've cleared TCS interview. I recently interviewed with Accenture and I got an offer letter with Accenture as well. So what I found their main questions was both with TCS. So maybe the initial level they would ask the Python question. So you have to uh, practice bit of a Python. They won't ask very difficult Python. Yes, if you are going to a man company, maybe you applying for Microsoft or Facebook or Google, they would ask a lot of coding question. They would ask a lot of DSA question, which I'm right now preparing. I am not, as I told, I'm not from a coding background, so doing a lot of programming become difficult to me. But companies like Accenture, PwC, Deloitte or TCS, Infosys, they won't rely a lot in that DSA domain or coding domain. The basic coding would be there, basic Python coding, basic SQL injection codings would be there. So understand doing the basic of Python is required. Practicing very basic Python, I think, is important. And then what I mainly prepared is all the conceptual level. And I would, yeah, I was working in a company, so I would try to upskill from the Udemy course that they provided, from the YouTube course that they provided. And what I found is mostly they would ask question on that only. If you are able to talk confidently on your project, talk confidently on the topic that you know, even if you don't answer few of the question, that's, I think, well and fine. You don't have to understand or you don't have to cover all the topics. But if you are you have to be very confident and very clear on the basics of all the neural networks, all the basic machine learning algorithm, all the basic mathematics behind it. So basic is very required, and being clear on the basics is very required. There will be some tuning parameter or some. So if there are questions on LLM model, there are lot of things in LLM models which maybe you have not explored. And I have bluntly told that okay, I don't know this, and yeah, I would like to explore it if I get a chance. And what I found, that does not give any negative feedback to it. What give the negative feedback is answering the basic questions wrong. So if you answer the basic question wrong, then they would know that yeah, your basics are not clear. So even if they train you long enough, you would, like, they could face the problem in that. So yeah, being clear on the basic, what Datamite has taught on us, what Udemy courses would be there for. So knowing the basics, which is very important. We should be very clear on the basic. And later, when we work on the different way, we would start knowing other things. So that would come in the later stages. Also, it's there would be the later stages. Also, it's fine. But yeah, I would emphasize on how learning, being clear on the basics is very important. And they like that if you are very clear with the basics, and if you don't know few of the topics, that won't be a matter too.
Okay, I had another question with that. That how did you prepare for the jobs? What was your
Yeah,
path?
so I continuously, whenever I have an interview, I would try to recall my basic. I would collect some data set from Kaggle. I would do some imputations. I would do some, I won't solve the whole problem, but if I would solve the parts of the problem, maybe if I want to concentrate on the statistics, I would do all the statistical thing that I can do into a data. I'll just practice how the normalization would affect, how the standardization would affect, how the bell curve would look like, and yeah, I would prepare like that. I would go to the basics always, even if I'm very clear to the basics, because I know I cannot prepare for everything they would be asking me. it would be impossible to know what they are asking. Also, knowing the job description, like if I attended uh, interview with Accenture, that was mainly a role with a senior analyst, mainly with LLM models. So I would go to the website, I would see the job description that they are focusing on, and I would focus on that topic mostly because they would ask mostly on that. And the later part, as I have a little bit of experience, I can talk on that. But seeing the job description, what they require at that point, what is the requirement of the company that what they are expecting of me, I would prepare on that. So with TCS, it was mainly uh, a role with data driven technology. There was not a lot of LLM models. So I would prepare on that. And with Accenture, they told that mostly I would be working on LLM models. The job description was like that. So I went there and I prepared. I was not very good at LLM model, but yeah, we have n number of resources, and knowing the job description and learning that, yeah, that is what I do before attending the interview. I see the job description and try to go more deep on that topic rather than going different topic. But you have to continuously practice it. As I'm working right now, so I don't need to practice a lot of things at home every day because I'm applying the same thing 8 to 9 hours a day. So, but yeah, upskilling is required. And if you are going through an interview, we should we should be very clear with the job description, and we should understand. We should also like go through some projects that are maybe made previously. We should get some insights on the project so that when they talk to us, the interview talk to us, we should not be blank and let them answer a question, or let them question everything. So we should tell some topics that we are very confident on. We should frame the sentence in a way that they ask questions on the topic that we are confident. It will maybe, if I'm going to done a project that is very good to me, I would empathize on that project. I would talk a lot on that project. Even if they ask me a basic question, I would try to make like I will try to say how I use that algorithm in the project that I worked in. So that is very important. They wanted to see if I have any use cases I have done or not. So I think, yeah, projects are very important, and talking on the projects when you get a question on the topic which may be correlated with your project, you can give the example on how you use that algorithm, how you use that uh, uh, like you how you use that concept in your project, and that makes the interviewer more confident on you rather than just answering the questions, just giving the textbook answer. We can give a live example on how we used it. So I think talking like that would, yeah, make, yeah, I have failed in few interviews as well, but yeah, that would happen anyways.
Okay, since you told us that you had a offer letter from TCS and Accenture, and
Yeah.
you have applied in various sources, what was the source where you applied for the jobs, or you went ahead, the platform you chose for job applications?
Yes, so mainly TCS would be having their own portal. You can check the Naukri and see if there are any job vacancies there. You can go to the LinkedIn, you can go to the company portal. So yeah, I wanted, because I started late, and I got into a MSME company. It was not very big company. The previous company, the company that I'm right now working with. So I wanted to enter a domain, but yes, I wanted to go to a place where I think the technology is very new. Again, I got offer with TCS before getting offer with ATMECS, but I chose ATMECS because the job description was very well. And applying in the job, I think we need to be very aggressive on that. We cannot be like, okay, I'll be applying later. Okay, I have to prepare first. I have seen a lot of friends when I was in my course. A lot of them were very scared of applying for interviews or attending interviews. they would be like, I have to prepare 100% and then I have to go for the interview. I don't think this is a very good strategy. uh, we should attend interviews. We should know where our problem lies on. So I never got interview. Never got a chance in the first interview I attended. I was not very clear also on what I know, what the question was. But yeah, I tried to apply for interview, even if this is a very small company. I know I'm not uh, going to go with that company, but I would tell them, yes, I'm interested. I wanted to attend your interview, and yeah, even if I would just experience how the interview was. What I have seen is small companies would tend to ask more difficult questions than big companies that are paying very high bucks. So I think companies very small would ask very conceptual level questions, or maybe the questions they would ask a lot of question. It would be a long sessions, and from my personal experience, attending interview with TCS, PwC, and Accenture was very easy. Then applying for small companies, that was like maybe a startup, maybe a very small company. But yeah, applying interview, if even if we are afraid, if we are even if we are thinking that we are not good enough, it's okay if we fail. We have thousands of companies in India, so if one company rejects, there are a lot of companies that you can apply again. And yeah,
Uh,
so
So, what final conclusive message you would want to give all the students that are looking up to you to pursue a course and go ahead for a job in data science?
yes, as I told, empathizing on the basics of Python and being clear on the basics is very important. And yeah, you should like what you are doing first of all, because in other domain, so maybe if you are a backend developer, if you are working with a backend developer, the task can be divided into 10 sprints. So maybe the first maybe you can tell that your work can be ending in 1 month, so you know that you have your work is divided into special into segment. But what I've seen in data science is that when you see the problem statement, if you will feel, yeah, it's very easy. Maybe you can do the same task in 1 day, but what happens is that even if you have finished 95% of the work you have done, the last 5% can be very difficult to complete. You won't get the exact accuracy that you want. You won't get, you have to, you sometime after finishing all the things, you have to, you may find that the first step that you have does was wrong. So you have to go again back there. So you have to start again from the zero. So in other domain, you don't have that thing to do. You don't have to start all over again. So enjoying what you are doing is very important, because we can't get frustrated very often on this domain. And yeah, learning, doing the projects, interacting with the teachers, and applying for interviews as much as you can. Try to sit in an interview, apply whenever you are free. Tell your parent, tell your sister, friends to apply for on your behalf if they are free. So like apply for a number of jobs, see what goes into it, even if it is not in Bangalore, even if you are not, if you don't want to go to the job, even if the pay is very low, you don't have to go with through the offer, but attending the interview is very important. You would know what kind of question, and I've seen mostly all the questions are repetitive. It's not very new. They won't ask very new things. They have a set of questions, and if you sit for a lot of interview, you would be confident enough to answer them. And if you answer wrongly, you can, I think it's okay. You don't have to be demotivated. I have seen my colleagues. I have seen my colleagues who are better than me. So in the previous company I worked, there were people better than me who would solve the problem, who would know the concept better than me. But what happens to them during the interview is, if they answer few questions wrong, they would be like ghosted. They would not be very confident on the later stages of the discussion. So I think even if we are answering few of the question wrong, we should be very polite. We should be very confident. We should not show our body language as like if we are very nervous. I think most of the people think uh, big good companies would see that how you are behaving under pressure during the interview. With Accenture, it was a very like the questions was in a rapid fire. They won't let me finish the whole answer, and they would and he would like ask the different question. He would go deep, and he would go deep till I won't tell him to stop, like I don't know this topic, and then he'll go to another topic. So I think they did not want to see how much I know on the topic, but they wanted to see how confident I am talking to them. How yeah, if I know something, it's okay. I should know something. It's not like I should be answering wrong things. But yeah, they more than answering the question very all the question rightly, they would your our body language should be very confident. We should be polite to them. We should smile. Like yeah, we should be very confident while we are attending the interview. And I think that is a very important thing what interviewers look forward to. And I would suggest everyone to do the same thing. Don't not be nervous, not be while not be like I have to learn 100% and then go to the interview. Start doing the interviews. Find what flaws are you are getting. Uh, Work on the flaws, and then again attend an interview, and yeah, goes on, and there will be a company that you would get chance in. And once you get a chance in, I think if you are experienced enough, you would you would be naturally getting confident on the project that you are working with. So yeah, getting into the domain is very important, and being confident is also very important.
Okay, Shubham. We have a few questions here from the attendees that we have, though I think most of the questions we have answered in the session, but still. One of the question from an anonymous attendee is, you once were a fresher to this field. So
Yes.
how did you manage to get into the field of AI?
Yes, so I got into a company known as Uttunga Technologies. They required a person who knows a bit of Python automation, and also would be working with the data science domain. I attended before attending the getting this job. I think I have attended nearly 10 to 15, 10, maybe 6 to 7 interview. I don't know. I have been rejected a lot, and yeah, most of the some of the time I would get demotivated. But what I knew was I was good at communication. I know even if the market is not very good at this time, it was right after the COVID. Right now, the market is still better, but when I was trying to apply, it was a very bad situation at that time. I knew that there will be a chance. There will be a chance I'll be getting. So after completing my interview, after completing my course, I started applying for a lot of interviews, lot of like in a day, I think 3 to 4 hours I would go to LinkedIn, I'll go apply, I'll ask for reference, I'll go to Naukri, I had taken premium from Naukri. They would help me get some interviews as well. So using that, I got into a company, and yes, there will be a company that will be able to take you. And yeah, after getting into a company, it's very important to prove yourself. You should not be very lazy after getting into the company, because what I felt that this is not the company I wanted, but this is the starting of the company. So I did not get very comfortable there. I was not like I have to work this for 5 years. So I learned how much I can. I took responsibility into from like I asked for more responsibility. So as a fresher, they sometimes would not give you responsibilities, the seniors. But yeah, I asked for responsibility. I asked for more projects. I tried to build more dependencies on me, so that yeah, I can learn more things on out of that. And what I found is that even if I fail in few of the things, there are a lot of people helping me out of that. So getting a job is, I think, is the first stage. You can apply, and I think one day or not you will get a job if you do, like if you try enough. you will get a job. It's not a rocket science. Everyone, like most of the people are getting job, and if we have done a training, it is a upper hand to us. We have to be very confident. We will get the interviews. We would fail, but yeah, we should start applying it. And after getting a job, won't don't be very relaxed. Try to get into as much as center stage as you can. Talking to the clients, it's very important. I think talking to the client. Uh, I was a junior at that time, but yeah, I would tell my seniors that I'll be narrating with the client, so they would be. I think seniors are more than happy if they don't get very lot of responsibility. If you tell that I want responsibility, they would happily give it to you. So yeah, that is what I think. If you are freshers, you can do few of the mistakes. So taking responsibility at that stage is very easy. If you do mistake, they won't directly remove you from the job because you are fresher. So taking responsibility early stage is very important. And yeah, applying as much as you can. Attending the interview is also very.
Okay, so there's one more question from another anonymous attendee. The attendee is saying that is planning to join a serious course in DataMites and is from a non-IT background. I doubt I cannot crack interviews. What is your suggestion for me? And can I join data science course in DataMites online batch as a non-IT student?
Uh, yes, I think what same thing was with me. I was a non-IT student. I was from an electrical and electrical electronics background. I hated coding. I was not very good at coding. But what I was interested in is like I did not want to create a backend server. It does not. It was not very appealing to me. So when my friends were doing the coding, most of the things were full stack developer, Java developer, backend developer, and I was not very sure on that. This is the line I wanted to choose. I don't want to code the whole day. I wanted to have some conceptual level also, and a conceptual understanding on the topic I'm working with. And data science is a background where I find coding is not the center stage here. It's the secondary thing. The coding part in what we do in Python could be done with a number of AI tools also. Like, yeah, yes, you have to understand it, you have to modify it, but the coding level would can be done by the AI as like GPT as well. You should understand basic coding, and I think it's not a rocket science understanding the basic levels of coding. I think everyone can understand. If someone is from the non-IT background and want to switch to data science, I would ask them to, and if you are afraid of coding, I would ask them to go through some YouTube tutorial of Python. I think it's very easy, the easiest language to understand. It's like speaking English, just with fixed syntaxes. It's not very difficult. Yes, some C, Java are a bit difficult for creating a small function. You have to write a lot of coding, but with Python it's not like that. You coding in Python is very easy. If someone is interested in data science and afraid of coding, I don't think that should be a problem to them. I think it's not a very difficult learning curve. If they start learning, it would be easy for them. But yeah, they have to have the interest first to uh, work in data science domain. I think if coding is stopping them, I think they should not be afraid of that. It's a very easy learning curve to understand Python.
Okay, so there's one question from Ritesh Tiwari on YouTube. From Aswin William. Does IBAC certificate help you out in interviews or doing more projects as an intern helps for attaining a job as an AI engineer?
I don't think certificate would be very helpful to you. Yes, getting a certificate can influence your LinkedIn page. Maybe you can get interviews, but clearing the interview, you cannot say that I have cleared IBAC certification. That won't be any use case. Maybe you can get interview through that, but clearing the interview won't help in IBAC certification. Like getting an IBAC certification won't help in the interview process. Projects absolutely helps. Real-time projects would be very helpful. Doing internship also would be helpful. If you are getting any internship, you should absolutely apply for it. You should start doing an internship, because when you go to do a real time project in a company, you get to understand the business cases as well. You understand so if you are in an IBAC certification, you are just answering the questions, you are answering the conceptual level. Yes, you get a good concept, you have the clear concept about it. But if you do a project, you understand after the project how is your prediction helping the client, right? It's You won't get that from IBAC certification. You won't get the real time scenario. You won't communicate with the client. You won't communicate with the business, the person you are developing your algorithm for. So I think projects are very important. And if you talk more about the project during the interview, it makes the interviewer more confident on you.
Okay, so one last question we'll be taking is there's a data analyst. So can you suggest any project which is good for a fresher?
I think, yeah, if you are good, there is no one project that would be very good. I cannot just say one project. There are thousands of projects, but yeah, I can say some websites you can go through Kaggle, take the data sets, try to mimic, try to see some videos. So I think there are lot of videos on how vision technologies are working, how LLM models are working. Even if you are not like if you have cleared the basic stage of the data science domain, go with some advanced level projects, like work on vision technologies, work on new LLM models, see how a transformer architecture is learning. So I think we cannot rely everything on the courses that is provided to us. Nowhere they would be covering all the topics. Understanding how LLM models would be working with the transformer, with the RAG models. So there are different kind of uh, like different kind of training mechanism through transformer, which is the latest now. Most of the company are looking forward to the LLM domain. I have seen in the market right now. Understand doing some topic, working on that topic, understanding how transformer works, how you can fine tune llama models or GPT models. If you have yeah After clearing your basics, if you want to do advanced things, go with LLM models and some vision technologies as well if you want. But yeah, that is what there is no one project I can tell as a fresher. I think if you clear the basics, try using the basic algorithm first, like random forest, decision trees, ensemble learning techniques, and then going to the neural networks and then the LLM models would be helpful. I think, yeah, upscaling your projects one by one would be helpful. This is how you can go with.
Okay, Shubham, that's it from our side. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your valuable time, and
Thank you.
good luck for future.
Yeah. Thank you.